Hello, Guardians, and welcome to another God is a Geek podcast. Joining me this week are Nick.
Topical there, Chris. I know.
I thought I'd start off, throwing a bit of the old Destiny in there. And also joining me is Mr. Adam Cook. How are you doing, mate?
Hi, mate. Is this just going to be a Destiny podcast this week?
It sure is not.
Okay.
It's Geek Destiny.
Yeah.
Guardians of Geek. Guardians of Geek. Get in.
It's quite good. It's quite good, that, to be fair. Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. We will talk Destiny. We'll talk lots of different games because we've had a little bit of an extended break, but we've got, we've got to talk about Knack, Everybody's Golf, yeah. Absolver, Last Day of June, a bit of South Park, the Fractured Butthole. I can say that
the way you say that with your accent makes it actually sound like butthole. because of the I say butt and you say butt, don't you? Because the regional accent.
Butthole.
Yeah. Butthole sounds like you're saying arsehole, whereas in my accent, butthole. No, it sounds the same. No, it doesn't actually. I've just heard myself saying it.
You've just got some weird inflection of saying butthole.
Yeah.
Butthole.
Yep. Fractured butthole.
So we will be talking about lots of different games today. Adam.
Yes.
What do you want to talk about?
I kind of want to talk about Destiny. If I'm honest with you.
Let's do it then.
Okay, look, I played the beta. I was not a huge fan of the first game.
That's an understatement, Adam.
I can appreciate the shooting. I can certainly appreciate the shooting. I didn't like much else of it, though. I found it was a confusing kind of mess of a game with promise. So 2, when the beta was around, I thought I'll have a crack at this, and it seemed like more Destiny, to be completely honest with you. So I don't really know why I bought the second one, because it feels like it should, because it's the hotness, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a new big thing, isn't it? New shiny thing.
Quietly impressed with it so far. Only a couple of hours in. I've kind of only got to the first social hub. I found that the intro mission when I played the beta was a bit not boring, because it certainly got the visual flair that the kind of it's Halo in it. It's Halo.
Yeah.
But what I did find is that the final game seemed to be a bit better balanced, perhaps. Like I found it a bit odd in the beta. Like I was either absolutely mowing people down or like, oh god, I need to get into cover and hide because there's too much. I don't know that it sets its best foot forward. It does visually and it does story-wise, but the gameplay, like they are these just hulking, massive space monsters. Whereas when you get out of that area and I don't know, can we talk about the story? I don't know. I won't. But once you get out of that area and you start to go to, I'll just say a light place, there are enemies, I think, from the first game that phase out of like invisibility that instantly became more interesting to me, and like within that area there are sort of 2 or 3 different types of enemies that all require different tactics, and the shooting is still excellent, but I also find the biggest 2 differences for me so far, and I know Nicola played a lot more of this than me, so she'll be able to tell me if they are changes or just my perceived changes. One is obviously there's a map you can just bring up and go places on, which is fucking ridiculous that it took a game to get there. But I also think it explains itself way better. Like there's none of this, I mean there might be, I suppose, later, but so far there's none of this light shit. It's just like, this is your level, these are your skills and your loot, and this is your power, and by putting better equipment on, you are more powerful. But I also like the fact that I felt it seems to explain itself generally so much better. I think I may have a little issue with the story, and it's a game that takes itself incredibly seriously, which is it's fine, but also it starts in a way that it presumes you've played through and delved into the lore of the first one, and it's like I felt like the lore and the story of the first game was so hidden, terribly delivered.
It was hidden in Grimoire cards.
Hidden, badly delivered. They even changed the voice actor of Ghost at one point. Like, I felt generally the story may have been excellent in Destiny, but I couldn't find it, and it was so uninteresting because of that the start of Destiny sort of presumes you know who Cade is. You know who all these people are. I finished Destiny, but I finished it whilst in a party chat with 2 other people, and we were just chatting shit and shooting things. I couldn't tell you a thing about that game. I couldn't tell you a thing that happened or what the light thing is or anything. So the start of the game in 2 kind of presumes an awful lot. And I know there were definitely people who like loved Destiny, like you read about, but for me, starting it sort of presumes you know what's going on, and I think they try and fix that by purposefully like going, "Oh, hi, Cade." Like you don't genuinely address everyone by name all the time, but they try and that felt a little flat to me. So once I got out of that area and started just playing what felt like the new adventure, when you have to go and what. I don't want to spoil. When you go to the area I'm talking about to do what you're trying to do, I feel like that's the start of the game proper. Like, oh, okay, this is my adventure now.
Yeah.
But also, and again, Nicola, you will probably have to tell me or not, but I kind of didn't experiment with classes in the first game. I was a... Hang on, what are there? Titan, there's...
Titan, Hunter and Warlock.
Hunter is who I was.
Uh-huh.
I ditched her and I've started a new character as a Titan.
Yeah.
It feels so... I don't know if it's the game itself or just everything feels better. I wonder if I was just playing the wrong class. Anyway, I'm not Destiny aficionado.
Hunters can be a bit squishy.
Okay.
They can be a bit squishy. I think, I mean, we had a bit of a chat on Slack, didn't we? And I said that the Titan class is kind of your default soldier class.
Okay.
Your Hunter's a bit more of a finesse character because they are a bit squishy. They're meant to be, they're highly mobile. And also, well, I don't actually know what the subclasses are for the Hunter because I've only played a Warlock at the moment, and the subclasses have slightly changed.
Can you explain the subclasses to me a little bit? Because when I started the game as a Titan, and I forget what do they call it, supercharged, isn't it? When you get your ultimate sort of thing?
Yeah.
So when I started the game as my Titan, I got my ultimate. It's not Overwatch, Adam. It's not Overwatch. When I get my supercharged, so L1 and R1, you hit it, and I had this thing where I could sort of jump around, kind of ground pounding.
Yeah.
And now I've hit level 2 and I've got my powers back.
Now you've got some kind of swirly shield, yeah.
Which is cool, but I don't get why. Is that their way of saying that was the past? This is what this class is for 2?
I don't know,
okay,
because
I hoped you'd know that.
Yeah, I don't actually know, because with my Warlock, I started off and I was Voidwalker, which was the base class for the Warlock in Destiny, and then once you got to a certain level you unlocked the second subclass, which was Sunsinger.
See, that's what I remember from Destiny 1, and you could choose between which one you wanted, right?
Yeah, but
now
you
it
had
seems like a skill tree.
Yeah, but you had to play a certain amount as like Voidwalker before you unlocked the second subclass. Now, for the Warlock, you start off as Voidwalker, and then, like you say, about 3/4 of the way through the tutorial, it changes, and now the subclass. I don't actually know what this one's called, but I keep saying I've got a bag of flaming spanners. The sun. It's like a Sunsinger. You go into like flame, and you throw flaming swords, which is very like the third subclass that they added for the Titan, which was flaming hammers. My feeling is that there will be other subclasses, because each Guardian has 3 subclasses. One will be flame, one will be void.
Have I lost that other one then?
One will be arc. I don't think so. My assumption
that might be like your ultimate kind of final form sort of thing that you get back.
No, I don't. Well, who knows? I don't know.
I don't remember a skill tree, Nick. I remember you being able to change and you can do that in fact in this. So that's changes as well after the tutorial. So you've got a grenade, but you can change it to an electrical grenade. Yeah,
you always could do that.
I remember the choices, but I don't remember there being like a literal. Oh, well, when you hit level 5, you can unlock this with your skill, but I don't remember that.
No, it wasn't as early as that. The skill tree was quite a linear process in Destiny. But you always had 3 options of grenades. Once you'd unlocked everything in that subclass, you would have 3 options of grenades, 3 options for your jump.
Yeah, as I say, your boost thingy you could change, couldn't you?
Various other different things. Now, that hasn't changed that much. It's presented in a different way, and I think the skill tree is much more logical now, because it's got you've unlocked your grenade. now you've got these two other choices that you can spend a skill point on, and you've unlocked your jump, and do you know what I mean? It's a lot more logical.
Yeah, I liked it. Again, it's a quality of life improvement that I totally can get behind. But that was the only bit I was like, so what's happened to that jumpy ground poundy skill thing? It just
I assume
gone.
It's there, but you have to progress a certain. I assume it's going to be like the first game. You have to progress a certain distance in your subclass before you unlock another one. Unless, it's down the line and they reintroduce. I've no idea at this point because I can't actually see.
That they let me use it though, and then took it away, sort of, and didn't explain. I'm worried that we're sending Chris to sleep. Actually, do you like Destiny, Chris?
Oh yeah, I'm just listed because I've only played like 2 hours of it myself. So,
but how much of the first one did you play? That's the thing.
So first one, I played the main campaign when I first came out. Played the main campaign, and then there was all that bollocks with leveling up. It never felt like once you hit a certain level, it's all about different weapons giving you light and all that. And I just got a bit tired of it, and because there wasn't really a lot to do when it first came out, I gave up. And then I got back into it when The Taken King came out, but I couldn't fully get back in because I'd left it so long. So with Destiny 2, I want to just kind of get in from the start now.
Same.
Whether I play as much, obviously, because there's a hell of a lot coming out. So whether I get to kind of put the time in, I'd probably not. But however, as a first person goes, I personally don't think there's a greater first person game than
Titanfall.
Bar Half-Life. No, it's all right. Bar Half-Life 2, Halo 3 for me, control-wise, was perfection. Like that.
See, Chris, I have a question for you then, right? Because in fact, both of you, because I think you're both massive Halo fans, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing for me with Halo is I've always 100% respected their gameplay. Brilliant. I could never, ever get into the story. It always felt like people were trying to say there was more than... Like, if you just tell me, look, Halo, I don't know why I said it like that. Halo is like a summer blockbuster. It's a space sci-fi epic. It's a cracking action film turned into a game, and it plays great. I'm like, you know what? Cool. I can get behind it. It's like Uncharted. I don't in 10 years' time think I'll still be talking about the effect Uncharted 2 had on me, and the narrative, how the blah, blah, blah. It's not, it's not like The Last of Us or something in that respect. But with Halo, I feel like people talk about it like it is like that. And I worry that that's what held me back in Destiny, because there was just no story. Well, Grimoire cards. But I do think Destiny 2 actually does, again, caveat 2-3 hours in, so far, it actually gives you a big bad. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's... I know what and who I'm fighting, which it did not feel like it did in the first one. But is that a Bungie thing? Because, Chris, you love Halo, but am I miles off of the story? Would you rate the stories that Bungie create?
Well, no.
I think the first three... I think the first 3 Halo games were fine. The story's okay. I got into it. I know.
People listen to this. I forgot. I'm not hating on Halo. No. I gave Halo 4 a 9 out of 10. I remember doing that. I remember really loving that game, but I would never say I think Halo has the best story in games. But people talk about it like they did.
No, there's not even a lot of lore involved. It's fine. Like, for what it is, it's fine. And then Destiny, as you said earlier, like, I can't remember anything that happened.
I can remember fuck all about Destiny. I can't remember the end boss. I
can remember some tall
The end boss was in a raid.
Right.
Oh, see, yeah, no, but this story, it does feel like they're trying to make improvement to it, and as you said, there is kind of like a main villain who, so far seems quite good. But I've got a long way to go to kind of have any say on the story. But from the start of it, it seems like they are trying to make more of the single player.
But do you know how in a massive sort of open world RPG or like a GTA or a Red Dead, you kind of have a couple of hours of tutorial and then you'll find like the hub, and it's like okay, now we're starting, and you have that feeling. Because games do it all the time, where you do that. Like, here's the first couple of hours, bombastic, explosive, blah blah blah. Right. This is the conceit. Get on with it. Whereas with Destiny, I just got to that starting zone. The what was it called? The one where everyone kicked the football around and danced a lot.
Tower.
That place, Tower. Of course, it's a tower. There's always a tower. where the tower was, and I kind of felt like, this seems quite cool, and it's like we're on a farm, and I like this. I want to play more of this. It feels like it respects me more.
Yeah, and like I know like people play games for the story, and there's that whole story versus gameplay thing, and something that Destiny's always done, even in the first game, without kind of any real story, was have just perfect gunplay. Like it's just amazing to play, and that was one of the things that kept me playing it. Was just how fantastic it is. And in this one, it's exactly the same, but they've improved certain bits. But just on the whole, I love playing it. I love shooting in it. I love the control. They're just experts at it, I think. And Bungie, I'm looking forward to play a load more. Whether I will or not, I don't know.
Can I say one thing about it that everyone listening is going to hate me for saying?
Yeah.
My God, I wish it was 60 frames. Yeah. Like I've seen footage of this game running on a PC.
Do you know what though?
Oh man.
I was playing it last night and I felt like it was a lot smoother than Destiny. So I mean,
did you up the sensitivity, by the way? Because I know you play a lot of Twitch shooters, like the Titanfall. I found I had to up the sensitivity on the look stick because I found like I was moving. Like when you're just in like looking forward, fine, but if you turn left or right, it ain't off slow.
No, I'm quite happy with the
thingy,
the sort of standard sensitivity controls. To be fair,
I only upped it by 1 in the end.
I actually had a bit of I don't know whether it's because I'd not played it for a while or what, but initially when I was first playing it, I had a few times where I was a bit sort of disorientated because, like enemies were kind of crowding me and I was kind of like, oh God, where's that enemy gone? But I don't know, that's what I mean. It kind of felt a little bit faster than Destiny.
Yeah.
So
Do you have trouble seeing the waypoint marker at all, or is that just me?
No, but if you ever get stuck, you can just press whatever it is to get your waypoint, your little ghost out. And
what is that on Xbox? Because it used to just touchpad on PS4.
I think it's like what used to be the back button. So
of course, because the back button was now like the screenshot button on PS4, isn't it? So
yeah. So I think it's the back button. One thing I was playing it last night, and I mean, I play Destiny in a fire team, and that's one of the big draws for me is that it's a huge sort of multiplayer game. And I was laughing because I was playing with my gaming husband, Munch, who absolutely adores Destiny. And we were on a mission, and I was just really chuckling to myself because he was going, oh my God, this is amazing. I love it. It's basically Destiny. They've like reused assets and everything, but oh my God, it's the best game ever. Like he was being totally self-aware that he's been sucked in. Because it's still the same enemy types. It's still the same enemy types. And playing it, I was like, this is basically Destiny. I don't know why it's got a 2 next to it. Do you know what I mean? It could have easily just been another expansion, but it was amusing me that, sort of trotting along behind him while he's running and shooting through waves of enemies. He's going, oh my God, look, it's the same enemy and I'm shooting them and it's great. I mean, one thing I am a bit wary. There's a few things that I'm not sure about. Like, I don't know if you've had a look or delved much into the microtransaction stuff.
I've heard about them, but I haven't seen them appear yet.
Yeah, I'm a little bit wary of that. Like, because things like shaders, I mean, one of the big things, it was very, like when we play Dark Souls, it's like fashion Souls.
Yeah.
Destiny's very much the same. You've got to make your Guardian look good. And there used to be all these different shaders that you could put on. Now, these are now consumable items that you can purchase through microtransactions.
Hey?
And I'm not sure if I'm happy about that. I don't know. Because
what do you mean, consumables? Like
so it's a one-use item. It's a one-use item. So let's say you find a shader and you go, okay, I'm going to put that on.
Oh, wow. So if you change it back to another one, it's fucking
you've
gone.
Lost
That's
it.
bullshit.
Yeah, you've lost it. So I'm not sure I'm happy about that. Because they added microtransactions in fairly late. I think it was probably with the Taken King update, if I recall, and you could buy things like emotes and what have you.
Yeah,
and I'm fine with that kind of stuff.
Yep,
that doesn't matter to me because I'm not going to buy it. But if somebody else wants to buy it, and that in turn then feeds other DLC in much the same way as loot boxes for Overwatch feeds, map updates and characters and things like that. I don't mind that kind of thing, but there's more and more stuff now that is being added into the microtransactions, and from what I can gather, there's also stuff that will speed up your leveling up process, which I'm a bit bothered
we don't
by.
like that.
Now, I haven't 100% confirmed that, but I have read a few rumblings that is the case, and that bothers me.
I mean, I don't mind if you want to buy a red and white striped cloak, and you want to spend your own money on that. Like that's your consumer choice. I have never done that.
No.
And I can't imagine, unless it would have to be incredible to make me pay money for an in-game piece of clothing. But I do think that's so just to be 100% clear, I go and buy my red and white striped cape and I wear that for say 6-7 hours of game time over a couple of days, and then I spot another one on the marketplace and this one's blue and white and I happen to like blue more, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy that, and I consume that. But now my red and white one is gone for good.
No, you wouldn't buy a specific blue and red cape. What you would do is you'd have your gear on and then you would buy a red and white shader, which turns all of your armour red and white.
Okay.
And then you I really like the blue and white.
Yeah. And then the red and white's gone for good if I change
lost it. Yeah.
Oh, that's...
I'm bothered by that as well, because the shaders used to be... Like if you completed a raid, you would get a raid-specific shader.
Right.
And like the raid-specific one for the hunter... after doing Crota was just amazing.
So if you get a shader from so you haven't paid money for it, you've got a shader from completing, like you say,
as a reward for a mission or something like that. Yeah.
That is that one-time use?
I believe so.
So even the non-consumable,
it's now a consumable item, so you can
even ones that you haven't paid money for.
Yeah.
Because that's fucked up. Because
as far as I'm aware,
surely it can't. Surely not. Because if you get, if you even get stuff like that from bosses in this, but that's like, so I've got that shit. If I use that, I've got to want it, because if I change to another one, it's gone.
You used to get them. You used to get shaders for like completing certain missions. Like if you finished all of the missions. On the reef, for example, all of the story missions there, you'd then get like a Queen's something shader. You'd get raid-specific shaders. If you joined a faction and you leveled up your faction to a certain level, you would get a level-related faction shader. And you could swap and change those as and when you saw fit. And also they were connect, like your inventory, all your consumable inventory is shared between your 3 guardians, if you choose to obviously have 3. Yeah. And like some shaders would look better on a hunter than they would on a warlock outfit, for example, because the way that they shade is slightly different. So I used to swap and change all the time, and I'm not sure. Like I say, I haven't got far enough that I've had a shader yet. And I haven't looked that much into, the sort of the bank area where you can purchase stuff. I haven't looked that much into that at the moment, because I'm just concentrating on, playing the story at the moment. But yeah, I'm a bit. From what I've heard and read so far, I'm a bit about that.
Can we at least call this episode of the podcast "Throwing Shaders"?
Yeah.
Defo.
Okay.
Noted.
I mean, everyone's enjoying it, right? I know. I don't want this to be Destiny 2 podcast, but is it? Everyone's sort of broadly. I am broadly.
I am.
Way more than I thought I would.
Okay, cool. I played a good few hours last night. I think I'm like level 7 with my warlock.
That is a good few hours.
And I'm like power level 80, something like that. I've done a few story missions. I've done a public event. I haven't got Sparrow yet, which is just
oh wow,
it's really killing me. That fact I haven't got Sparrow.
because you can increase your power, obviously. But you could. I was looking at mine. I don't know if it works, like if it's a best spec, but when you might be equipping something that makes your overall power higher, but you might also be, for example, although I was increasing my mobility and my power, but I was reducing my what's it called, resilience. Which, and if you hover over resilience, it even tells you what it means. It's like, wow, I don't know if it did this before, but I never noticed it. Okay, but now I know that like lowering my resilience means I can take less damage before dying, which is a weird way of saying health, isn't it? But I was like, I don't know if I want to increase my power at the loss of the resilience, because I feel quite mobile already. I think in that way I'm worried it may already have its hooks in me. So I'll be interesting to see if next time we talk I'm still playing it, because I wouldn't have been with the first one.
Right. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I've got like just a nagging feeling in the back of my head, because Destiny was a second job, especially because the fact that I had 3 Guardians. So come weekly Nightfall, I'd be doing the Nightfall 3 times.
See, I can't get into that though, Nick. That's another thing. Like, are they still going to be doing that, where it's like, if you want to play X, you got to be here then? I can't do that.
Well, the Nightfall, you had a week to do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right.
you had a week. It used to reset. Tuesday was reset day.
Sorry, my bad.
And your special vendor, who I've forgotten his name,
Zur
vendor would be in for a... well, actually, no, he was only in over the weekend. Yeah, he was only there on the weekend. So you had to log in. It's definitely geared up that you're logging in on a regular basis. And that's my only concern about Destiny 2.
Yeah.
In that it does become, particularly because I have 3 characters, it does become a bit of a second job. And that's my only nag about it at the moment.
I don't really get why it's an MMO, or they try to make it an MMO. I don't know why they don't just make it a sort of co-op game where it's like, if you want to bring people into it, you can.
Isn't it? It's that daily login and another chance for you to get suckered into buying a shader.
Maybe.
That you have to keep buying every time you change it.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's half an hour.
Destiny 2 is big. Like, let's not pretend, for all the jokes now. Destiny 2 is probably, I'm just thinking aloud, like, is it probably the biggest game this year? Like, it's certainly up there along with the Zeldas or Marios. Like, Destiny, like even the 2 on Destiny 2, like when you I don't know if it does on Xbox, but the splash screen you get on games now when you start them, the 2's fucking enormous.
Did you get any of the lovely like reminder stuff from the first game? I'm guessing that you wouldn't have done if you didn't.
I got 2.
See, I had loads of stuff from doing like Nightfalls with Munch, and it'd say, "Here's your fire team for this," and I was like, "Oh." And then it was like, here's when you first beat Crota. Oh.
Yeah. A lot of people have been saying that's quite cool. I liked it. I only got 2 screens because I did finish it, but I will say I remember finishing, and basically I think it was my friend Tony was like, "Can you just babysit me through the end of this fucking game? Because if nothing else, I want a trophy for completing the story." And there wasn't one. That's one thing I'll say about Destiny 1 and 2. They seem to be very tight with trophies.
I said that last night. Yeah.
Very tight.
Now in the first game, you still got stuff for like story related. Like, let's say you maybe got one midway through the story, and then at the end of the story, you still got that. But in Destiny 2, I was looking through the achievement list because I'm playing on Xbox, and it's all geared around unlocking all of the subclasses for the Warlock, the Titan, and the Hunter. Like, I've got one achievement or trophy in it, and that's for completing a heroic public event. It's all geared up for that. So there's one for completing a raid, there's one for completing the raid on hard, it's all geared up around that. There's nothing, as far as I can see, tied to completing the story.
Tight. That's what I'll say, they're tight. Yeah.
So you've got to get I think Nightfall's one as well. You've got to complete a Nightfall to get one.
I will promise I'll do my best. I was going to play it this morning, but it just kept kicking me out every time I tried to log in.
Servers, I believe. I saw something on Twitter earlier on today, Bungie saying that they're trying to resolve the issue on PS4.
I mean, this is I promise, Chris, I promise this will be the last thing I'll say about Destiny 2. I promise, this week. I woke up this morning, so I can't talk about it, but I am also playing PES 2018, and I think anyone who knows me or knows God as a Geek generally knows how excited a lot of people on the site are about PES 2018. Can't say any more than that. I have been playing that for a little while. I don't even know if I can say how long, but a little while. And last night when the servers and that, when I got my copy of Destiny came, I was like, I play it. I'm gonna have a crack on it before I go to bed. Like, I woke up this morning thinking of Destiny, which is no reflection on Pairs, because again, I can't. In a preview sense, we've all played Pairs, the beta, the demo. We all know how that plays. But I woke up thinking of Destiny, and that's why this morning I was trying to log into it and like, fucking hell, fucking play this game. Sorry, Chris. That I will say no more on Destiny.
Hey, it's fine. It's fine. It's a big game, and I'm sure over the weeks there'll be raids and stuff. And I'm looking forward to. Because I didn't really play anything like that on Destiny. I never got on any raids and stuff like that. So
no, I did raids, but not the other one. Was it?
Trust me, you need to play it a lot before you're raid ready.
What was the other one? There was something that was like a raid, but not a raid. It was like a mini one.
Nightfall was always a challenge.
This was like you go through an area and there's a boss at the end of it.
Strikes.
Oh yeah, the strikes.
Might be strikes.
Yeah.
Or maybe I did do a raid actually. Were the raids the ones where you have to have X amount of people?
You needed 6 players.
No, I never did that. Forget it. Sorry.
Yeah. You needed 6 players, and it could take you a week to complete the raid. So yeah.
Sorry.
No, yeah.
Say that last bit again.
You need 6. But this is one of the reasons why I'm a bit about Destiny.
You did just say you need. Yeah. They can take a week to complete.
Yeah.
How is that? Sorry, Chris. I know I said that I wouldn't talk about Destiny, but I have to have that explained to me. How can any?
Well, I mean, obviously, once you start getting your high level gear, it takes less than that. But when you first start a raid, you may not even you get a week to complete it, like in the same way that you would with a Nightfall.
Okay, sorry. I thought you meant the Dead Rising achievements where you have to play for 72 hours.
No.
Okay, that's.
I mean, it's multi-stage.
Yes, I heard about
you
these
need 6
platforming
players
stuff.
because it's pitched at a level where it's going to really challenge you. There are a lot of puzzles that you need to complete to get through, which requires you communicating with all 5 of your teammates.
So that's where this new what do they call it?
Yeah. Because a lot of people didn't do the raid because it meant you had to go in. For example, I used to play the raid, and there'd be me, Munch, another couple of guys. But let's say we'd be 4 or 5, we were always short at least one person. So what we would do is we'd have our little WhatsApp group saying, "Is everybody playing can anybody run a raid tonight? We're doing it on normal or whatever." We'd log on, and then we'd have to go into the Destiny app and put out a post asking for somebody to come and play the raid.
So Splatoon 2 then, basically.
Yeah. And that's where all the stuff would come out. You may have heard me and Munch, say Galahorn or get the fuck out. Because you'd get this little meta game where if you went into the public lobby looking for a raid group, there would be stuff like need to be able to run sword, must have Galahorn, all of these things. And, for the
Did it ever have its World of Warcraft moment? Because you're describing a World of Warcraft raid there, like where the Leroy Jenkins thing comes from.
No, that's exactly it. Right? It's exactly it.
But I can play that now, right? And Chris, you said that you were excited to try because what is that bloody thing they called? They made a big deal about it, where if you haven't got a group of 6, you can be match made with people now, which wasn't a thing before.
Yes.
So we can actually do those, Chris.
Yeah.
God, do you remember when games were simple?
Good luck with being able to do it though.
Yeah.
Because they ain't easy. I mean, I completed Crota many, many times, and I never managed to complete the King's Fall raid. We got to the end boss several times, but it would always the thing is the raid would take you a good few hours. Let's say you got really good at it and you could go through the various stages, you could do a clean run, but it'd still be 2.5 hours. And when you got to the last boss, if you keep failing it and we'll restart this checkpoint again, blah blah blah, eventually people will go, I've got to go now, I've got to leave, and you'd be then sat at that checkpoint for the rest of the week trying to get a team of 6 to take down and kill the end boss. So I never actually completed King's Fall, although I got to the end boss many, many times. I never was in a team where we managed to take down the end boss. And it's really frustrating because, you know, you need to keep running the raid to get the higher level gear, which then makes the raid easier. And it was just getting to a situation where people were saying, oh, you don't have touch of malice, I'm out of here. Or, you know, your light level's not high enough for this, I'm out of here. You just get these elitist pricks who, because they've completed the raid 2 or 3 times, aren't then willing to help somebody whose first time it is on the raid. And it's just, it can be a bit of a twat. But, so. The thing is, though, is once I'd done King's Fall and got a bit of King's Fall raid gear, you go back and you can run a hard raid on Crota, or we did it before. We ran a hard raid on Crota with just 3 of us. And he went down like a sack of spuds. So that's how it changes. I never finished the Atheon raid either, which was the original raid that came out in Destiny. Just never got round to it. It's funny. Done Crota loads though.
It started to sound like a foreign language about now. Actually, even to me, you know what? I feel like this is my fault. I'm so sorry to people who are like, I don't fucking care about Destiny. Thank you for enduring 35 minutes of Destiny.
Moving on.
Well, do you know what?
Let's talk about Destiny some more.
Do you know what? I want to know more about the farm. So there's a football. You can play No, I'm going to stop. You want to stop? So
is there, by the way? No, don't. Seriously,
but no one was playing.
A quick look around.
No one was playing with me. I went on for ages and had a kickabout, but no one was around. No one wanted to play. So
I mean, there had to be, right?
Like Rocket League. But there's no, it's quite good fun. But yeah, no, we need to stop.
We need to stop
talking
about this.
There are other games out this week, out last week, and there's a game out next month I want to talk about. So,
okay,
let's go down to South Park and have ourselves a time. The Fractured Butthole.
Go on.
I got to play it.
Fucking lot of it as well.
Last
actually,
week. I did, yeah, and I was quite surprised at how much.
So
I was literally sat down at a computer screen for about 3.5 hours of footage I got. I was there for about 4.
You sure did.
Because there was a lot of like cutscenes at the start and stuff. But basically, 3.5 solid hours of gameplay, and it's really good. It's really good. Now, I don't really know where to start. Basically,
can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go for it.
This will give you a good starting point. Obviously, we've got videos that are either up or going to be up soon by the time you hear this. One thing I noticed straight away was that, you know, it looks more South Park RPG game, but the second thing I noticed was that the battle system seems different to me. Like, it seems deeper.
Oh, yeah, it's really smart. So it's very much, if you've played a turn-based game before, or, you know, anything like that, you'll be able to get on with this. But yeah, for a South Park game, it's quite deep, the combat system is. So you've got to pick. Basically, it's based focused around superheroes, and obviously, if you watch South Park, you know who the Coon is.
Still feels wrong that we can say that out loud on the podcast, actually. But yeah, go on.
But he's a
should draw attention to it, really.
Half raccoon, half man. Eric Cartman wants to form a band of superheroes to fight the underbelly of South Park.
How the fuck did they get away with that one?
I don't know.
All of them.
But you are... Fuck. I know.
It's kind of head-in-hand stuff, isn't it, sometimes?
I mean,
There's a lot of this footage you'll see. Hopefully you'll see the priest battle where you fight these 2 priests, and you walk into this church and the lights go out, and one of the priests starts to give you a massage, and it all gets very weird, and then you have to fight them. But when you do fight, you've got a battle grid with squares on, much like a lot of these turn-based RPGs, and you could choose kind of like one attack where if there's an enemy in front of you, you'll hit them and you'll knock some of their damage off.
So can you move on the grid, Chris?
You can move on the grid, yeah.
So you couldn't in the last one, could you? You were like, "There's your 3 characters, and there's their 3 characters."
You've got a certain amount of, depending on who you are, you've got a certain amount of room you can move.
So it's like fucking Rayman. So it's like Rabbids and Marriott. Like, what? Why can you move? What's the purpose of movement?
I think with certain I always refer to the Banner Saga because that's the kind of the turn-based game I've played the most of, and each character in that you can move a certain amount of grids dependent on your that level skill. that character skill. Sorry, so you play as this new kid, like you did originally.
But, sorry, I don't interrupt. I'm confused because I adored the first one. I think I gave that 9 out of 10 as well. So but in that it was like Final Fantasy VII, basically. I think that's probably why it got me so hard, because it was, there's your characters on the left, there's them on the right. On the left, you choose between like an attack or a magic attack, and whatever you select, they will either like do a ranged magical attack, or they'll do like go and hit them with a fucking use Johnny full of batteries or something. And that was in South Park, not Final Fantasy. But you didn't have to worry about distance as such. Like, you had ranged characters and they had magic anyway. So because whereas, say, in XCOM or Mario plus Rabbids or the Banner Saga, like, the idea is, like, you have to get from where you are to within range of them by using your range of movement to then attack them. So, what I don't get about this is, have they changed it like that dramatically then?
It's not like every move's got like a certain range to it. However, you can kind of, like, so there is like those moves where you'll press like square and you'll punch the opponent in the box in front of you, or you can move down, you can move around, and then another attack will take out that guy and then a guy behind you. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of different moves you learn, and it all depends on the classes as well. And there's certain like battles where you're fighting like up to 4 other people with your team of 4. So there's a lot kind of going on, and there's
so like, is it more tactical RPG, strategy RPG than turn-based?
I think so, because you're different. Cool. You're different characters. So you've got you're the new kid. You fight with the human kite, which is Kyle, and then you've got Mosquito, and then Fast Pass, which is Jimmy. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Sure. The kid in the wheelchair. Sure.
Just think. No, that's Timmy. Jimmy isn't Jimmy the guy with the crutches.
With the crutches. I mean, either way, he's mobility challenged, isn't he? To be polite.
Yeah. Well, Timmy is in it as well. But
of course, he is. Is he still doing the bus thing?
Timmy's butt. He's like in this. He's like Professor Charles Xavier. So it's like, and this is in the trailer. He's in the trailer and he's communicating to Cartman via. Oh no, I can't remember who he's talking to. He's talking to someone telepathically. It might be Cartman. And Cartman's just like,
I haven't seen this, but I can guess. Go on.
But it's amazing. He's like, he talks to him like normal, like he's just talking to him, and then he stops doing his telekinesis, and then he just does it. He just does one of his smiles. Yeah. Oh man, it's fucking class. But yeah, basically Fast Pass, or Jimmy as we all know him, he can heal certain members on the team, or he can lower defense and attack. There's a hell of a lot of different, maneuvers and skills that people could do. So you do kind of have to work with your team to get the most out of it. And you can also swap in and out certain characters that you find along the way. And you kind of, the point of the game is to recruit new heroes to fight against whatever kind of enemies you may encounter. And in the preview, there was priests, there was these girls that worked at South Park's version of Hooters.
Yeah.
And there's some sixth graders.
It's called Raisins, Nick, and I assume everyone can guess why that young girls who are at a Hooters bar are called Raisins, right? I can't. As Adam Cook, cannot be going into that. Why that is on the podcast? Yeah, no.
But look, do you know what? This is the game. This is what we're talking about. And
fuck it, Chris. If you don't like South Park, it's not going to change your mind. I've not played it, and I can tell you that.
Exactly. So if you watch South Park, you know exactly what you're getting.
You either like it or you don't you?
Exactly.
I like it. I think it's funny,
and it's brilliant. And there's like, so you've got the battle moment, these moments. Then you've got the bits with a backstory, because every superhero has a backstory. And there's a bit in the demo that I played where Cartman's trying to create your backstory,
and they're playable. Yeah.
Playable. Yeah. And he's talking, and he's like, oh, you're in bed, you hear a baby on the landing, you go out to the landing and you see a baby, but there's 2 burglars there, and the 2 burglars try and steal the baby, but you have to fight them, and then it cuts to like a battle scene, and then you fight them in this battle scene, and then you hear a noise coming from your mum's bedroom, you open the door, and your dad's fucking your mum. It's a tragic backstory, like this, this is you, this is what made you become the hero you are. It's just stupid, but it's brilliant. And that's like one of the many things that you get to see in this 3.5 hours. But we as I say, we are going to get a couple of videos done. I'm writing a preview. You'll be able to read that now. So there's a lot of coverage, and it's out next month. It looks incredibly polished, mate. Like it looks
it's
stunning.
like, Rabbids plus Mario as well. Mario plus Rabbids. Sorry, I must get the billing correct.
They've done an absolutely fantastic job with this, and I think if it's as consistent as these first 4 hours, then it's gonna do just as well. I think, if not slightly better than.
I finished that the other day. Actually, I finished that one because I was playing that pre-release as well. And finished Mario plus Rabbids the day it came out. Good game, that.
Yeah.
If people aren't, I don't know if has that been mentioned on the pod? I don't think it has it?
No one's played it. No.
It's very, very good game. Very bit long. Bit maybe outstays its welcome. 25 hours. Just a bit long,
Yeah. But there you go. So there you go. Yeah.
I can't wait. Can't wait, Chris.
Yeah, it's not long now. But if you don't have a knack for turn-based games, Knack 2.
I'll throw you right off there, Chris Anna. Sorry.
Knack 2. Yeah, no, and then I started to think about
Return of the Knack.
My love
Knack in the
for
sack.
this game.
Oh my God! I used to love that song, by the way. Never mind. Anyway, carry on.
Here it is. Once again.
Back, knack and sack.
Oh.
Back, crack. Yeah, hey.
Knack, back and
2.
crack. I don't know.
Knack 2's here, and it's good. And
I like Knack 2.
You should all fucking give it a chance.
I like Knack 2.
It's a hell of a lot of fun.
Except, as I think I said in the Slack when you told me I should give it a go, I was like, yeah, probably won't. Destiny 2's gone.
Yeah, I wept
it's a
for
weird
2
game.
hours.
It's a weird game, right? Because I feel like there's a lot of preconceived people before that even come out or even played it. And I see a lot of reviews, and I will never be the guy that says, "How could you have given it a 4? How could you have given it a 9?" I couldn't give a fuck, really. Like, you justify your score and you whatever, that's your score, because a review is, as we all know, an opinion. So thus, unless listen, mistakes can be made in reviews where there are factual inaccuracies, but in terms of your opinion, it's right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Chris. You gave it 8.5. I wouldn't have given it an 8.5, but your opinion is correct because it's your opinion. That's literally what a review is. But I find that with certain games, and there's a few still coming out this year that I think are going to have similar fates. And one that already had a major one earlier this year, we discussed on this very podcast, that had that fate long before it was released. Sometimes,
where the narrative is set before it's actually even been released.
That's right. I'm not going to sit here and say that Knack 2 is a game changer. I'm not going to say that Knack 2 is this mind-blowing game. But I tell you what, I had a lot of fun with Knack 2. I haven't finished it yet, but my kids both enjoyed it. That was fun. They both enjoyed it. And do you know what was really... I was thinking about this the other day, right? Something that's really nice for me. I don't know if because I know you've both got kids, and I think between the three of us, we've got kids of all varieties of ages. I think I think Nicola, yours is the eldest, and I think Chris is the youngest, and mine are in the middle. And I'll tell you what, I have found a difficult thing recently is finding a game that we can play together. We can play a bit of Nidhogg, we can play a bit of FIFA if we have to, or Pairs, but there's no kind of adventure for us to get stuck into together. Like, it's either kind of the sports game, the fighting game, the Minecraft, and because my kids don't play Skylanders anymore, so those days are gone. Knack 2 is that. It's also a rare breed in that it's a fixed camera third-person action adventure game. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, and like my eldest is more suited to this kind of game because she's just a bit more kind of...
Yeah.
She's better with the coordination.
But even then they thought of you because she has to just press R2 and she can walk past any difficult bits anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And... both of them have played it, and they both love it, and they're always asking to go back on it, even now, like, after I finish reviewing it, we finished the game. They want to go back, and they want to play it again, and we didn't play loads of co-op together, but when they weren't playing, they were watching me play it, and they love it. They love the story, they love the colour. It is more or less aimed for the younger audience, but that doesn't necessarily mean adults can't play it, and... You don't have to have kids to play it. You don't, but you have to understand that it is it is aimed at children, and to kind of get what it's all about. Kids are a good voice for this game, so they know what's good and what's not. Don't assume.
I think it's hard
to
actually reviewing a game that's aimed at kids. Yeah. I mean, I think I've said something similar when I've been reviewing Minecraft Story Mode.
Last time's podcast.
Yeah. I kind of have to sit there and go, well, this is just, daft. Or, I'm not enjoying this particular section. But then I think, actually, for the age group that this is aimed at, they'll be delighted by this bit.
It's like you and Gary said about the Escapists too, with the YouTubers. Like, to all of us, that's kind of gross and horrible. But I guess to kids, that's kind of cool. Yeah. I don't know. I think so.
I think if you watch those YouTubers, having them in your game is like, oh my God, they're in my game. Oh.
I suppose that's the equivalent of when you see someone like that does voice acting you particularly like appearing in the game, like a Troy Baker or I've forgotten her surname, Ashley.
Birch.
Oh goodness me, is it Birch? One that was in Borderlands?
Johnson.
Borderlands.
Oh no,
well, both actually. I think both.
I'm thinking of Ellie from Last of Us.
I'm
Ashley
thinking of
Johnson.
the one who does the main. I've forgotten the name of the character, but the main female in Tales from the Borderlands. But what I'm saying, forgive me for forgetting the names. But I'm saying that there are some well-known voice actors that, like, when they show up for us, they're really good, aren't they? And I guess it's that. I don't know. With Knack 2, it's an interesting one because I find it weird. A lot of people in the reviews were saying like it's actually good. Surprise, surprise. It's like, I mean, fair enough. Like, but kind of maybe better if you go in with a bit more of an open mind, perhaps. Maybe I don't know. I just found that a little weird. But again, not my place to say. Your opinion. You say what you want to say.
Yeah, but as I said, it's a great game to play with kids. It's great to play on your own. There's a lot going on there. The combat system's been enhanced. It's a lot more kind of varied. There's a lot of different moves that you can learn from the start, halfway through, towards the end. You get given things by one of the characters you go through the game with, called Ava. You can upgrade your skill trees, and they're basic skill trees, but they do enhance.
It's a bit odd the way they unlock. I will say
it is. No, I do find
unlocks one quadrant at a time, and it's like, well, I kind of would like to just be able to pick from all of them, but I don't get why.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense too much because they're not like, because by the time you got to, like, say, the third one, the kind of the skills for that they don't really enhance anything. You could have used them to the start; it wouldn't have mattered. So yeah, the skill trees they're great, but they do unlock quite late on. It's a bit of a weird one, but on the whole, it's just great to play. The whole size mechanic of Knack, where you'd be the little Knack and you can get through.
I love that for some reason.
It's cool, and it's dead smooth the way it goes from big Knack to little Knack. I just really liked it.
Yep.
And I like the fun behind it. I like the colour. It's colourful. It's diverse. It's a platformer, and it's a great platformer. And I think people are being too hard on it, and I don't know. It's again, opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one, and some people are arseholes. But
sorry,
that would have been a fucking cracking.
Too late.
Fucked it.
Too late, so much Chris. To talk about. It's too late. That's why I'm here, just to throw you off your path.
You've thrown me off now. So let's just talk about Absolver.
Yes.
I thought you were going to throw to the past and talk about the Super Nintendo Classic Mini, but go on.
Oh, I could have done. We can
go there later, but Absolver is fascinating to me. I still haven't played it.
A lot of folk in the face.
Anything.
Yeah.
I haven't played anything. So I've only played a bit.
Is this Dark Souls with punching? Oh.
No, I wouldn't say that. The only sort of Dark Souls comparison I would go with is that it's a bit ambiguous why you're there and what you're doing. That's the only Dark Souls comparison.
Right.
No, it's
so it's comparison in terms of bullshit, is what you're saying?
Yeah. No, it's just punching fuck out folk. It's great.
That's all right. I can get behind that. That seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
Are there any Nazis in there? I mean,
no, just people wearing masks.
Can I put? Oh, so I can pretend they're Nazis.
Yeah. I really liked it. I was a bit disappointed in its length, I've got to say. I thought
that's a quote to take out of context.
I was a bit disappointed in the length. The girth was fine. Anyway, it was a bit shorter than I thought it was going to be. And I know that Gary said that it was short, but when you actually play it, well, I think Gary said it was maybe about 5 or 6 hours, but I'm pretty sure I did it quicker than that because I'm like double hard and stuff.
It's true. We know this. Yeah, that's still quite short. Is it? But is it? Because the thing I've been hearing, like, it's say 4 or 5 hours, Nick. But is it finished?
Yeah, it is. I mean,
okay.
There is an end game, but the end game seems to be purely based around 1v1 PvP. Which I'm guessing if that's what you want to do, that's great.
That's a bit like Dark Souls 2.
But I'd
I
think I'd prefer a mixture of PvP and, being able to go around and do it again. Basically, you can do PvP until you get to like a certain level in your PvP.
Right.
Once you hit that level, you can then go and do one of the 3 main bosses again. So you beat them, and then you go back to PvP until you level up again, and then you can do the second boss in the story, and then you go back to PvP. So it kind of works like that. Meanwhile, you can still go around and like punch others and learn moves and this, that, and the other through the the sort of guard mechanic that you've got.
But when you say bosses, Nick, every single bit of footage I've seen of this game, you're just punching some sort of slim dude in the face, and you're a slim dude or lass.
Yeah.
But are the bosses like different, or are they still just one-on-one fights?
They're a bit more complicated. There's the main boss, who is another slim dude or lass.
But they're just harder fights then.
Yeah, but they also, because they're massive pussies, like pull in other, others. Yeah. So you're momentarily distracted from punching the boss in the face by punching his minions in the face. And they might use weapons and mix it up a bit during the fight, other than just punching. So, but yeah, they are. It's not like you're going to be fighting something that's a bit mythical. You're just fighting another humanoid.
Okay.
I'm making it sound really dull. It's not.
You don't sound sold on it.
It's not dull. I actually really enjoyed it, and it's got a great co-op mechanic as well, because you can invite somebody to co-op it with you. But you can break that co-op at any point by punching them in the face. Then you're enemies.
You can invite people, did you say?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I played it.
Proper invite.
Yeah, I played it with 2 other people, and we went round and basically trolled other players, like a set of twats.
That sounds like you, Nick.
But boss fights are 1-on-1. You can't go into a boss fight with 3-on-1, for example. But you can do all the other stuff with a co-op partner.
So what happens when you try to go to a boss? Or it's just like you can't.
It just takes you out of that instance and puts you in a different instance. You fight the boss, and then you can rejoin the instance of your pal.
Interesting. Sounds like every game that does this sounds like it gets halfway to my dream game, which is like a sort of Dark Souls PvP style thing, the way you can actually just go, I want to play this with my friends. They never get quite the way there, but
I'd like it if, for example, the PvP wasn't just 1v1. It'd be quite cool to go in as a little team of folk. I mean, to be honest, the fighting, I didn't really get on with For Honor, but the way that you fight is very similar to For Honor. You change your stance, and by changing your stance, you get different blocks and hits and what have you, and move sets. Yeah, I really liked it. Like I said, I'm mildly disappointed that it's over in a reasonably short period of time, but playing it, I really, really enjoyed it. Moveset's really cool. Because I've learnt Stagger Style now, or that's my school now, Stagger Style. And I just wandering about like I'm drunk. And I had a PvP match with somebody who was still on the base fighting style. And I think I threw him a bit, to be honest, because my moveset was completely different to what he was used to. And I beat him 3-0 because, I'm hard. But, yeah. No, it's good. It is a good game. It's a really interesting game. But I don't know how much I'm going to be playing it now that Destiny 2's out. And the fact that the only end game I've got now is 1v1. I could start another character. I think there's 3 broad classes you can choose from. So I could start and play it again with another character. And I think that, depending on the class you choose, you have a different starting school. So there's different movesets to learn. But, yeah, other than that, it's kind of done and dusted, really.
Well, we'll leave it there. So, if you fancy playing that, go and give it a go. Read Gary's review. He was quite keen on it.
It's good.
As I say, I've not really played it much myself. Yeah. But can you talk much about the SNES Mini then, Adam?
Yeah. What do you want to know?
I want to know what the games are like on there. Because I'm not too sure what is on there. Oh yeah,
God,
but
I'm not 100%. I don't think I've come prepared with a list.
So, some of the classics then.
Well, Mario Kart, the original, Super Mario World, of course, Donkey Kong Country. Shit, was it Donkey Kong? Hang on, give me 2 seconds.
I thought you were about to say something else then.
I did, yeah. Do you know what? Whilst Adam's having a look,
right?
Go. Oh, he's back.
Sorry, I just had to grab the box, which was facing the other way. Super Mario World, Donkey Kong Country, F-Zero, Secret of Mana, Castlevania 4, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Earthbound, Super Punch-Out, Contra 3: The Alien Wars, Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, Star Fox 1, Mega Man X, Kirby Superstar, Kirby's Dream Course, Super Mario Kart, Final Fantasy 3, Super Metroid, Star Fox, I said that already, Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars, and Star Fox 2.
Oh. Yeah. So there's some fucking good games there then.
It says on the box, Chris, 20 plus 1.
Yeah. Isn't that Super Mario World 2 game or something?
No,
what's the plus
the extra one?
Yeah.
The extra one's Star Fox 2, isn't it? So Star Fox 2
Star Fox
was
2,
never released officially.
Yeah.
The Star Fox 2 was finished. It was shipped, it was bug tested, it was ready to ship, and Nintendo decided they would not ship the game because it was around the time another console was coming out, and they felt that the graphics would look too bad compared to this new console. So it kind of it was completely finished, like it was done, and they never released it. And there were like ROMs of it available, but they aren't the actual finished, official, final retail product. So I am telling you now, although we probably won't do it, but there will be websites running Star Fox 2 reviews when the embargo lifts, as well as like we will run a SNES Nintendo Classic Mini review, but we won't run it. I'm telling you, other people will. I guarantee. In fact, I think GameSpot are definitely doing it, running a Star Fox 2 review, of that game and that game alone as well. Yeah, that's all the games. What do you want to know about?
I don't know. Like, how does it run? Like, is it fine?
Mate. Yeah, it runs exactly as I remember them. Yeah,
and it's size-wise,
it's tiny, smaller than a PS4 controller. Well,
really?
Comparable, if not slightly smaller, to a PS4 controller. It's tiny. Yeah.
Yeah. And does it feel good to be back playing those games, or
some of them?
Because I always find with like, when they re-release old games, like the Atari collection that I played, like they're fine for like a little bit, but then you just like, I just want to go and play like Witcher or something out now. Like, could you have they managed to hold your kind of?
Some of
obviously
them,
I know,
but that's because they're some of the best games of all time. Like the Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past is one of my favourite Zelda games.
Yeah,
Mario World is my favourite game of all time. I love the Punch-Out series. This is not my favourite Punch-Out, but I do like that game. Mario Kart's where it all came from. Some have aged worse. I mean, again, this is all in a preview sense. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. This industry's ridiculous when you're talking about 30-year-old games, and it's like, well, in a preview sense, like it's all right so far. Street Fighter 2 is Street Fighter 2, still great. Donkey Kong Country, I'm undecided on. I think I missed that one at the time. Castlevania's Castlevania. These games are not new. The new one is Star Fox 2, of which I've played a small portion of and can talk about the first part of. And it's Star Fox 2 is basically what I'd say about that. It's very much Star Fox 2.
Yeah. It's all right.
I mean, you said that, not me.
I just don't see. I don't see the point of these, to be honest. And I don't know why people get so excited about it.
Well, they get excited about it because Nintendo make them rare, and that means people want to get them. And because there is a definite... I mean, again, our age on this podcast, we all know how important the SNES was and those games were. This thing doesn't actually come with a power adapter. It comes with a USB cable. So it's so small that it's literally next to my Xbox One, and it's plugged into my TV's HDMI and USB, and the TV powers it. It's that small.
Christ.
There's some cool shit on here, actually. I've got a video going up soon. There's save states, which, if you've ever dabbled in emulation, you know what they are.
Yeah.
Basically means you can hit a button and you save wherever you are, no matter what, whether it's a save point or not. It freezes the game in that point and saves it. And on top of that, they've actually added a rewind feature. So once you've got a save state, you can load it up and rewind it X amount of time. And then, so like in the video, you'll see, I think it was World 1, it's in the first world of Mario World, and there's when you first get the cape. So I accidentally used the fireball and killed that first cape thing, and I thought, well, that's a great opportunity to just rewind it and not fireball it and get the cape. So that's cool.
Yeah.
It's nice. The controllers feel great. The cables still could be a bit longer, if I'm honest with you. It's longer than the NES one, which was stupid. This is longer. It could be longer still. But it's a weird thing to review. It's an even weirder thing to preview. I like it so far. I'm going to spend some more time with it before writing the review at the end of the month. It's
fair enough. It's not really a lot you can say, is there?
It's not really. Just because I think anything I say will be similar to the Amiibo things, where I get very, very angry about stock shortages. It's like, guys, people really want this thing. Fucking make more of them. Like, I can't put it any plainer than that. It frustrates the living hell out of me that, like, to get an Amiibo, you have to have your fucking alarm on your watch saying, they might be going on sale today, or hope someone tweets you, and I don't even have notifications on my phone, so hope someone text messages me or rings me and says, that Amiibo you wanted, it's going on sale now. It's like, that's a ridiculous situation to be in. And it's the same for the SNES Classic. It's ridiculous. People want them, just sell them. Just sell them the product they want to pay you for. See, I've done it. Even though I said I wouldn't do it, I've said it. I can't help it. It makes me so cross.
Hey, that's fine, mate. That's fine. It's true, But what can you do? There's not a lot. You
can either buy one or you don't. Simple as that.
It's a shame, yeah. And if you've probably not got one on pre-order, you're probably not going to get one. So
my pal's got one on pre-order. He can't wait.
Well, the trouble is, there's a few pop up, Nick. Like, there's a few popped up on Amazon France, but Amazon France shipped to America, so that means not that they shouldn't. That's just the way consumerism works. But it means that people who couldn't get one pre-ordered in the States are now pre-ordering via Amazon France. So the whole thing sits very poorly with me, and I say that sat at a desk which has more Amiibo on it than anything else. Like, I am literally, if I look up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Amiibo on that shelf.
Yeah, but you've got an Amiibo problem, Adam.
I have.
You've got a problem. You're repeatedly in our Slack channel going, please, somebody stop me buying these Amiibo. And then next minute,
there is no stopping me.
You've got a picture of it.
Yep, I bought one yesterday.
Look at it, it's glorious.
Do you know how I've solved the picture? I've just stopped sending people pictures of it so they can't help me. It's not a problem if they don't know how to help me. Do you know what? I fucking bought an Amiibo for Mario Rabbids. Right? There's 4 Amiibo compatible with that. Mario, Luigi, Peach, and shit, I can't remember. I can't remember what the other one is actually. Oh, Yoshi. Now I've got the big yarn Yoshi because that's probably how it started. Lovely, cute thing. I already had a Mario and a Luigi, and I realised I ain't got a Peach. Well, you can't do it. I can't. Now, bearing in mind, I'd nearly finished the game at the time, and all it does is unlock a weapon for each of your sort of Mario characters. And they're shit weapons. You can't even use them because you're about 15 hours overpowered from when they would have been unlocked. Still bought Peach. Still unlocked that shit Amiibo weapon. Don't know why I did it. Stupid, really. Absolutely stupid. And then I look up at my shelf now, and I see Waluigi, and I think, I haven't got a Wario Amiibo. I've got Toad, I've got Boo, I've got Bowser, which I bought yesterday. I've got Waluigi, but I don't have a Wario. I haven't got a Wario Amiibo.
Oh my God.
I haven't got this.
What are you going to do, Adam? What are you going to do?
Nick, I've got 5 on pre-order, Nick. 5. That's 50 quid of toys that do fuck all. But they do look nice. They are cool. I like them. Give me that.
Okay, well, to anyone listening, you can go and tweet Adam on Twitter and try and help his addiction. Try and send him some.
Don't say that because they'll just tweet me links to buy it. Like, oh look, quick, here's the Wario Amiibo for $8.99. That's all I'll get tweeted.
Well, if they do that, then they're not helping at all, and I'll be disappointed.
They are helping, Chris. They're helping my collection grow.
They're helping your addiction. They're fueling your addiction.
The only
Adam.
solution to this is that I somehow complete the collection, and there's no problem. But the thing is, they are releasing a lot of them now. There's 5 due out. Like I said, there's the 3 Mario Odyssey ones, and there's Koopa and Goomba. So there's like and there's the 2 the Metroid ones are what set me off, Chris. That's made me furious because they came on sale in the middle of the day. I was not in the house. I couldn't buy them via mobile, and by the time I got home, they were already sold. And I fucking wanted that squishy Metroid amiibo. You can't see this. I am pointing at the pop screen on my mic. I am genuinely angry. I am angered that I could not get that. I don't mind the Samus one so much, but that fucking squishy one, I wanted that. I wanted that squishy one, because the Boo one's different as well. It absorbs light and it glows in the dark, that Boo Ghost one. I wanted that squishy one, Chris. And I can't get it.
Mate.
Sold out everywhere. Sorry. And it's not your fault, but you are taking the brunt of it, and I'm sorry for that.
I'll take it on, but you know what? Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's showing you that there is light away from the Amiibos and that you don't have to have them all.
It's a bad thing, Chris. I wanted that thing. It's a bad thing.
I know. Well, let's end it there on the subject of addiction. You can follow us all, you can follow us all on Twitter. I'm at First Avenger 83. Adam is at GBusF, seriously, send help. And Nicola is at wavy_gravy with an E. And for all the games we talked about today, there are written reviews or previews up, bar Destiny 2, which Mick is working very hard on. But obviously, it's a huge game with lots going on, so that might be up in a little while.
That's going up when it's ready. Like, that's a big game.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he needs to take his time with it. As I said, there's a lot to do, but you know,
it's pointless reviewing anyway. To be completely honest, if people have bought that already, but we'll do it because that's what we do.
Yeah, and that's all on godsofgeek.com.
You can about problems, Chris. He's got a problem. Destiny. He's got a problem with that game.
Oh God!
You should have seen the disgusting sexual text I was getting about that game, about how excited he was. I'm not going to repeat them, and I'll say anything, but I'm not repeating the things he was said about how excited about Destiny he was. I bet Nicola got a few of them as well off him. He's an absolute filthmonger when he comes to Destiny.
He hasn't sent me any. I'm a bit disappointed, actually. I might berate him that I'm not getting Destiny sex from him.
I mean, I thought for a minute that he was talking... Because I remember he wrote a replay on... Do you remember the game Wet?
Yeah.
Which actually quite an underrated game. He wrote a replay on that, and I thought he was going to write another one, because he kept saying he just kept texting me the word wet. And I thought he was thinking about that game, but it turns out that's just how Destiny was making him feel.
Oh, my God.
We'll never see him again.
No, we won't. You know, you might hear utterance of him. But yeah, there you go. So that's all on godsofgeek.com. You can also support us on Patreon. So head over to patreon.com/godsofgeek. We've got a lot of previews coming up. Obviously, because there's a lot of big games coming up. And we're going to be able to go to them thanks to you guys. So you know, you can back us with as little or as much as you want. It does help though, because we're getting to go to, as I say, a lot of stuff for you guys. That's everything. Thanks for joining me, Adam and Nick.
Welcome.
And everyone, enjoy your week. Go play Destiny until your fingers bleed. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye bye.